Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, January 27, 2025, here for my weekly cross-stitching update. And it's the last update of January. I don't know how that happened. Time flies so fast. Smokey just woke up from her nap under the bed, so maybe we'll see her in the background here in a little bit. So let's just jump right in. I have a lot to share. Oh, I did show on Instagram, there was some smoke from a fire earlier this week, Tuesday. And so it turned out to be a doozy of a fire, not really affecting me personally, but affecting the nearby. There's a town just north of us and they all got evacuated. And my church is in that town and it sits up on the very tippity top of a hill, and the fire literally consumed the hill. But miraculously, our church survived. Our brush clearance has been cleared properly all the way down to the property line, and the parking lot helped, and all this stuff. So the fire came right up to where we cleared the brush, and firefighters were up there hosing down from our property down into the fire because we just kind of at the top of a hill. I have a picture of the charred hill and our little church property up at the tippity top. It used to be a visitor center building for the lake that's down below the hill. So it's got like a nice vantage point, but it's vulnerable to fires. So, but thankfully God spared the building. We can't be in it at the moment. So we did meet at another church, offered a meeting place for us yesterday. So we got to meet there. It needs to, like, power lines are down, the road's still closed, that kind of thing. So, but the building is intact. I think there's one cracked window, that's it. So that's amazing. And I don't think it hit the town, which is very great. So nobody lost their houses or anything either. So that was a blessing. So that's the closest one to us so far. But another blessing is it rained this weekend. So Saturday evening through early morning today, it just rained constantly, off and on, heavy light for, almost 2 days. So that was great. Hopefully that'll help kind of keep everything from igniting again, because I think that's why the fire season is happening here in January when it wouldn't normally be in January, because it's been so dry. We haven't had any rain at all all season. So that's great. Rain is good. So now on to the cross stitching. So I have a couple things to share that I acquired this week. I got my Bee Stitch Me fabric of the month. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, you might want to look away or fast forward, but I got mine on, I don't know, midweek, I think. So hopefully everybody's gotten theirs. It's mine. I have the mix. This is where it goes back and forth between a neutral and a color. So this month was honey, and it's kind of an orangey, peachy, yellowy color. So I'm thinking this is maybe one of the color ones, not a neutral. But it could just be a rich neutral as well. Like when you see it this way with the selvage orange, kind of, it makes it more orangey, but when you look at it over here, I'm like, that's a decent neutral. I could do that. I could do something on that. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'll put on this, but it is pretty. So I'll have to figure something out eventually. Have a nice little collection of fabrics to choose from. And I went to a bridal shower on Saturday and ended up winning one of the games. So it was a planner, which is, for me, when I start planning in, early the year before, I don't need a planner at the end of January, but it's really pretty. It's got machine embroidery on the cover, and it's got big pages, lots of notes pages in the back. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll use this for next year, and I'll just go through and like change all the dates because it's really nice. And it'd be fun to have like an embroidered planner. That'd be fun. So I got that. I'll save it for next year and use it for my stitching next year. I don't really need a planner for my personal life. I just do one for cross stitch. All right, so let's see. What did we work on this week? I guess my travel stitch can be first. I got a little bit extra done on it this week because I worked on it for my main stitching on Tuesday as well. But this is Cats and Hearts December by Kitty and Me Designs, and I'm doing the whole set. I still have May and November left to do, that I'll do after this one. Then I'll have the whole set done. They're kind of a good size piece because I'm doing them on 25 count. You know, it's tricky. Like, it's not, you don't think they're as big as they are, but they are decent size. Let's see, they're 101 by 77, so not too shabby. But I have been having fun working on these throughout this last year. Here's where I am now. This is 25 count white even weave, 1/1 full cross. The kitty is now done, and I'm working on, I think, the second darkest mauve color. So I've done a few different mauves this week. Almost done with the mauves, and then I can go on to the greens. So yeah, that's really pretty. It's gonna probably take me all month to get it done. And I think I started it last month, so that's all right. The most of January was not very conducive to travel stitching. So I also worked on books of the Bible, which, see that? This is Kitty. This is Smokey's doing. I got a new bag that's a little wider than the original bag it came in. It's chewed on this side too. All the little. I got a new bag so I could easily take my paper out when I work on it in the car, and then Kitty goes and chews it up. So helpful. So this is by My Big Toe. This is one that I am going to be stitching in the car to and from church. Instead of my temperature stitching, because I did my temperature piece early. And I did do some tutorial videos late this past week for Ada. So I'll be getting some Ada videos up for the border in January, and then I have videos, I'll be putting up the new tutorials for February's stitch for the temperature stitches pattern that's out now. Because February is almost here. It's on Saturday, I think. Hey, Kitty. So anyways, I worked on this when I talked to my mom, because the day I normally talk to my mom, I usually work on my regular stitching piece for that day, but that day on Bringo, it called the piece I'm working on for my mom, which is a secret. So I'm like, well, I can't work on that while we're chatting. So I gave her several things to choose from, and she picked this one. So I worked on it while I chatted with her. That's when I got the most progress done. And then I also worked on it going to church. I just got this red one done when on the way to church, because the location where we met this week is closer than my normal church. So this may not get as much attention until our church building is back up and running and accessible and everything. So this is Bee Stitch Me 25 count through the stones, 1/1 full cross using the called for silks. And I am happy that I'm starting to add some color. So I think I just finished the thread of one strand of red, did all three of these because I'm doing over one with a full yard. So I'm going to go back here and put in one thread of green as well. And maybe just kind of move my way over to kind of break it up so it's not just all brown. There's a lot of brown in this piece, so there's Smokey right back there. All right, and I also worked, I think most days I worked one length of thread on Reindeer Biscarnu by Historical Sampler Company. I'm trying to get this done before the Pacific Stitching Retreat at the end of February, because I want to fully finish it when I get there. Because my friend Carla used to teach classes on finishing Biscarnus, so she should be able to give me all the tips and tricks. So here is where I've gotten to. This is the like slate blue Ada 16 count, I think, that came with the kit, the advent box from this year. And that's how far I've gotten. It's looking really great. So the reindeer, this first reindeer is, yes, he's upside down, but they'll be swirling all around different directions. So this quadrant needs the rest of the white, and then I can move on to this one. So there's a little bit of white in the reindeer itself and some snowflakes, and then I can move over here. So I'll just do 1 or 2 days of white and then work on this guy. So when I didn't want to count too much with these fiddly bits, because then there wouldn't be anything to anchor things on. So one day I did the red and the black as my one thread, and then the other day I did the green and the pink as my one thread. And all the rest of the days I did literally a full thread, which is whatever was in the kit. So it's probably with a loop start, probably an 18-inch length. Because it's a yard doubled in half. So that's that one. And it is fun to pull that out. Doesn't take that long to get a length in on the 16 count. So I'm used to stitching on my tiny counts where a length of thread is gonna take a while. So it's nice when it just kind of whips out pretty quickly. Okay, I think that's all kind of the miscellaneous stuff. I have still been doing my temperature daily 30 cross stitching, which has been really fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's still manageable. I know there'll probably be seasons coming up this year where I won't be able to do it. But so far it's been fun, and it's really nice to go in there every day and kind of be like, what am I going to work on? And since there's 10 pieces, it's not monotonous because different ones get picked at different times, and so it's not like I'm stitching on the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, oh, I have to work on that again. So it keeps it spicy. So that's fun. On Tuesday and Wednesday, I worked on Cat Bookshelf. So I got 2 half hours on that one. Total 1 hour. So this is by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Randall Spangler, and I am just doing this orange book, A Tale of Two Kitties. I'm not doing the rest of it. I'm just going to do one little sliver. Probably will actually fully finish it into a bookmark. My daughter can have it if she wants. Or I could use it. We'll see. But let's see. So I got 147 half stitches on day one, on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I got 78 half stitches. It is 28 count water lily Jobelin 2/1 half cross. So it goes nice and quick with the half crosses. It's now at 93.07% if you count for me marking off all the other books in the entire design. So yeah, that's where it's at. You can see I am picking symbols up here, so I'll stitch them focusing here on the top, but I'll work it down wherever it needs to go until I run out of thread, and then I'll come back and pick another symbol. So this corner will be filling up first as I work across the top there. So this is a nice tiny one. So hopefully that won't take too long to finish. And then we have Simpsons I got to work on. This one, I did a whole bunch of fill-in last time. And I did a lot of yellow. So last week I showed you guys that. It was super obvious to see what I worked on. This is an old pattern I found on eBay like 15 years ago. It's not there anymore. This time I felt like chipping away at some of the colors with the least amount of symbols, because I'm at like the bottom half of the chart, and I felt like sometimes I don't want to always be hunting for the confetti stitches along the outlines of everything. And if I'm doing my strict pick every symbol in the 10 by 10 square and then move across, that strict method, sometimes I will get to confetti stitches that I don't really want to do at the moment. I actually felt like that this time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to work on my confetti. So I went and sorted the symbols by least amount of stitches. The first one I worked on had literally 1 stitch. And then the most I worked on, I finished 5 colors. The most had like 17. So there's a lot of colors with very little stitches. And so they're all like border stitches. So you may be just a scattering of little dots. You might be able to see a lot of counting. So I only got 42, and these are 1/1 half stitches on 40 count white burdoll. But I'm happy with that. It's stuff that needed to get done, and it'll give me other times if I'm feeling like block stitching, I can do that. And then if I am feeling like confetti, I need to do it while I feel like it. So this is now at 64.68%. So it's coming along as well. I'm hopeful that I can get this done in, I think, about like 2.5 years. Give it to my husband for his 50th birthday. So hopefully, if it's done before that, I'll probably just hang on to it until his 50th, just because it's a fun milestone. So yeah, hopefully that can get done. And then I worked on Cupcake Dreams, which was fun. This is by Tilton Crafts. This one is technically the one, when I picked all of these projects, had the least amount of stitches remaining in Pattern Keeper. This was a freebie. on Tilton Crafts. I don't believe it is there anymore, but it is, they have a larger design that includes that one that is just a regular pattern on there. So here is this one. This is on a 28 count Jubilee in like a light mint, a mint green color. And I finished the color I was working on. So I did a little bit more than a half hour, but I wanted to finish that color. It was 98 stitches and it's now at 82.56%. That includes the white background that I did not stitch. So I finished this red in this strawberry and then around the edge of this strawberry. So I am working this one still least amount of stitches to the most amount of stitches. And for this one, I don't mind because they kind of flow and they make sense. And I've got like 250 stitches per color on the smallest edge. So once I get into the ones in the cupcake wrapper, I think there's a lot more, but it's very blocky. So I'm hoping this can really make some progress this year. So it would be nice to get it done. And then I worked on Meadow. That got called again. Been a little while. Oh, I forgot one. I have to go get that before I show my plans. Here's Meadow by Carolyn Manning. This is one of her bouquet collections, and it is not full coverage. So all of this is fabric show through. So it's actually not super heavy on the stitching, but it's really pretty. I'm doing this one on moss grain fabric since the fabric does show through. It recommended something like this. So this is where I am now. This is 25 count 1/1. I got 117 stitches. It's now at 15.68%. And I might have gone a little over a half hour as well, just to be able to get finish my thread or something. So I am working, picking symbols in the 10 by 10 square going across the top. This motif has one more color in it that's technically not in the top 10 by 10 grid, that symbol, but I'll probably finish that motif when I pick this up again, just so I don't forget. I mean, I'll see the symbol when I'm coming back through the second pass, but I want to finish that motif and then I'll pick up these symbols, probably do some more border and some other things. So yep, there's that one. This is a fun one. And lastly, I got to work on Butterfly Rose Cross on Sunday, which was nice. This is Mini Butterfly Rose Cross by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Bridget Ashwood. I believe this is retired now. I removed the background myself. There's a lot of roses in there. I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of hung up in a butterfly right now, in the butterflies at the top. So I'm looking forward to some roses. I did 82 stitches. And this is where this is at. This is 28 count aqua tealy color by Hand Dyeing Duo. It's 1/1 full cross. I did 82 stitches. Now it's 73.38%. Again, that's including the background that I removed. So I've been picking stitches in this wing, like some of these colors, which maybe a couple stitches in that one too, but mostly over here. And then finally I got to a pink that started in this rose here. So it's really hard to see progress. There's just so much confetti in those butterflies, but this one, hopefully I'll be able to get some colors coming up here that have more colors. There was one color that had 4 stitches remaining and it had 3 in this one, 1 in this one, and 3 in this one and 1 way down here. And I was like, oh, I'm not counting to that. So there's one color that has 1 stitch left, but it'll have to wait. So, all right, so that's fun. And something else, this whole time, I started my current version of Temperature Daily 30, picking my projects in Pattern Keeper that have the least amount of stitches remaining. Number 8, Cherry Kitten, has not been called since the end of December. All of the temperatures that we've had since the end of December have not ended in an 8. Yesterday was 48 because it rained all day. The sun never came out, so it stayed cold. if I were stitching a temperature project, that would be my coldest color, which is fun. I know it's not that cold to some of you, but when the sun comes out and warms things up, staying below 50 is significant here. So I'm excited to work on Cherry Kitten this coming week, or today, I guess, because it hasn't come out yet, which is kind of strange. But I think Cherry Kitten and Butterfly Rose Cross are going to be my most complicated projects as far as their amount of confetti, so that the amount of stitches that I would get in a half hour is going to be more challenging to get a good number than some of the other ones that have more blocky chunks. But that's okay. They all need love and attention, so I'm going to give them all love and attention. Okay, main projects for this week. I filmed on Tuesday last week, and then that day my main project was my travel piece. Then on Wednesday, I worked on Beachcomber. This is one I'm working on for my mom. It's by Lindy Stitches. And this, I'm working kind of over here. So I'm almost to the edge, which is nice. So here's where this one is at now. This is 40 count raw linen 1/2 full cross. And I'm using like a color conversion. Similar colors, but they're fancy flosses for my stash. So I filled in the sand dollars. Sand dollars now done. I just finished my string on the starfish, so it's got a little bit more there. But the flowers up here on this seaweed border are that same color, so I wanted to make sure the placement was right. So I figured I'll do the seaweed border first, then I'll finish the starfish and do those flowers, or whatever those are. When I have that color on my needle all together, then I'll do the border down on this side, and then I can start working. I think there's another couple things here before the big whale starts. So there's also beads in this. And she just has 3 suggested colors and says, put them wherever you want, just scatter them around as like, I don't know, beachy, sandy, glittery bits. And so once I fill these 2 things in before I start the whale, I might throw in some beads. I found some petite beads that I thought matched my colors nicely. So they're not exactly what's called for, but I needed petite beads anyways because of my fabric being 40 count. So hopefully that'll be cute. So I'll add those beads before I move down into the whale. Then I worked on Winter Montage, and this one got 2 days because it had Thursday. I worked on it for Bringo, which I don't think I finished filling out my board, but I did get a blackout. So I did work on these. I just didn't highlight them. So I got everything done. Yay! Unofficially, I didn't post anything, but yeah, here's Winter Montage by Pain Free Crafts, artwork by Janet Stever. I'm up here still in these leaves. The first 2 times I worked on it earlier in December or earlier in January were kind of underwhelming. A little over 100 stitches each time. I was like, okay. It is what it is. A lot better this week. So I got 401 stitches on Thursday and 488 yesterday on Sunday for my regular seasonal Sunday stitching. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now the progress is significant. This is 28 count white even weave. I think it's white Lugana 1/1 full cross. It is total this week was 889 stitches, so not too bad. And then over the whole month, 1,145 stitches. So not as much as it could have been, but it's good. And so now it's at 3.81%. So I filled in a lot of this middle bits and started in on this next leaf. So yeah. Oh, and you know, filling in wherever it needed to go. The last couple days I worked mostly in here. So that's where that's at. So that's fun. This one will now go away until next year, I think. Because I'm going to be doing a different seasonal piece in February and a different seasonal piece, a third seasonal piece in March. So, and actually March's might be, yeah, go into the spring. And then December, let's see, I'll have to figure out if I still want these in the order I have them. But yeah, I think I'll probably bring this one out next January again. So that's fun. I am chipping away slowly at it, but it is fun to work on. This last couple of times I worked on it this week were very enjoyable, and I liked seeing it kind of fill in and have all those colors smooth out, and you can kind of see the picture developing. So that was nice. Bear Time Stories is what Whipco called Bringo with the Magazine Monthly Challenge. It's their month-long bingo game. And they announced they're going to have another month-long bingo game in April. They always have January and September. And then this year they're going to add another one in April. So that's fun. So here's mini Bear Time Stories. Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Randall Spangler. I'm doing this for my son. I am doing Extreme Cross Country on this one. And the last, I had it like Cupcake Dreams, where I have it sorted with least amount of stitches remaining to the most. And I was chipping away, working my way down the list, starting with the least amount of stitches, because getting rid of confetti early on is helpful, because as you get lower down, you can just start filling in chunks a little bit easier. But the last color I got was a lot of outline stitches. So it was like 240 stitches scattered throughout the entire thing. I'm like, ugh, a lot of counting, a lot of obnoxiousness. So I finished that one, but I thought, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood to do more chunk stitching, not have to count so far in between each little set, like 2 here, 3 here, 2 here, 1 over here. So I decided to flip it and go to the color with the most amount of stitches. And there's 3,000 something of that one. So I think I'll stick with that one until it's done, and then go back to do some more of the small ones. So that's my plan at this point. So here is this one. This is 40 count for doll, 1 over 1 half cross. Let's see, I worked on it on Friday, 481 half stitches. It's now at 28.99%. Total in January, because this came out 3 times in January, was 807 stitches. So the first 2 times I didn't get a lot accomplished, but I got a lot done this week. It was a good stitchy week. So the bits of the color that had the least amount of stitches remaining, they're all over. And so you can't really pick them out, which is annoying. But then I came back up here and I'm filling in, it's a dark orangey brown that I'm going to fill in. That was the color with the most. The second color with the most is black. So I think I'll finish this orangey brown throughout the whole thing, and then do some more smaller colors. Then I can do the black, then I can do some more smaller colors. And I think that'll be nice to go back and forth, just because I think that's the way I want to do it. Yeah. So that's that one. And then Saturday, my last piece on my Bringo board was Lollipop. This is the one for my daughter. So I got some good progress on this one too. This is by Tilton Crafts, artwork by Denise Garbus. And I managed to finish all the 10 by 10 squares all the way across the top. And I started coming back down the second row of 10 by 10 squares, picking symbols. And I think I'm picking symbols like over here already, because a lot of this was already fully stitched. So yay, it's so exciting. So because I'm in the sky, I was able to get a lot of blocks done, block stitching. I got 662 half stitches on Saturday. It is now at 7.94%. This is 40 count white Verdal, 1 over 1 half stitches as well. So this is kind of obnoxious because I would just finish the thread and leave all these gaps. So eventually that'll all get closed in, but for now, it's not. And then I came back over here and I'm picking symbols through here, and it's just so much fun. The colors are just so pretty. Blues and purples, which are my daughter's favorite colors. So yeah, that's fun. Total in January, because this came out twice, 949 half stitches. So that's perfect. Almost 1,000. So all of these gift stitches will come out again for 2 days here in February, which is Lollipop, Bear Time Stories, Beachcomber, and Ranunculus. Those 4 will come out for then my Monday, Tuesday slot all the way through February. And then I guess we can go into plans because I think that's all I actually worked on. Because Sunday was also winter montage, which I've already shared. So my plans in February, which is coming up, is I will have my Monday, Tuesday slot will be my gift stitching, 1 per week for 2 days in a row. Then my WIPCO calls will be Wednesday, Thursday slots, and each piece will get 2 Wednesday, Thursday slots. My WIPCO pieces for February were Shine Bright Sampler, again, which I'm very excited about because I really want to finish that. Please wish me luck that I can finish that in February. That would be so amazing. I'm getting close. So that'll get 4 days in February. And then my other WIPCO call was Honeybee, my Mill Hill kit. So that one will also get 4 days in February. And then my Friday, Saturdays, there were 8 Friday, Saturdays in February. And it's traditionally Colette, the Highway Stitcher, likes to do full coverage February with either like bingo prompts or questions in Instagram, different kind of things to work on to pick your projects. So because she had a lot of traveling she needed to do in February and various other things, she decided not to do anything super formal for full coverage February, but I wanted to keep the spirit of full coverage February. And so all of my Friday, Saturday days are just free days at this point to stick in whatever I want to work on. So I made a wheel of all my full coverage pieces that weren't already included in like temperature stitching or gift stitching or what have you. And so I spun the wheel and picked 8 different projects and they'll each get a day. So it's not a lot, but I'll touch 8 full coverage projects over the course of the month. And I'm excited about that. So the first one that I'll work on the 1st, which is Saturday, is Cat Alphabet. I thought that'd be a fun one to start. I already pulled them all because I filled out my wheel on my phone. That's what I film with. So I'm like, well, I don't want to redo this. So I'll just spin the wheel myself and fill them all out. So I'll show you every week the 1 or 2 that will be that week coming up. And so it'll be a surprise for you, but they're all fun. It's kind of a good mixture between old and new projects. So it'll be nice to get working on those. So this is one of the ones that was spun, Cat Alphabet by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Arina Garmashova. And I am up here in this title block. I'd like to finish the title block before moving on and doing all the other blocks. So this is a big one because I have it rolled up horizontally. This is on 28 count Lugana in ivory, I believe. And it's 1/1 full cross. And that's my starting point. So I will work on that here on Saturday for February 1st, my first full coverage February piece. So that'll be fun. Maybe I'll verbally show you my other ones in case you're really, really curious. Because if you know my channel, if you've been watching me for a while, you will know some of these. So I have currently slotted in, these might shift around if I have different things I want to work on, but currently I've slotted them in for next weekend. I'll do End of the Ball and Hibiscus Fairy. And then the following weekend, I'll do Stained Glass Cardinal and Grapes. The next week, I'll do Three Sisters and Patchwork Quilt Room. And then the 28th, I'll do Princess of the Sea. So Princess of the Sea, I thought would be a good one for retreat stitching because that day I'll be at the Pacific Stitching Retreat. So hopefully I'll get some good progress on that one because I'll be at the retreat. And then my seasonal Sunday piece will be new for February. So this year I decided instead of doing, last year I did winter montage 2 times, 2 months of the season, and the other month was Celtic Ladies Sampler. And now this year, Celtic Ladies Sampler is part of my Temperature Daily 30. So I thought, well, why don't I just pick out some other things to kind of throw in here? So I'm going to do my montage pieces for 1 month out of the season. And then I'm going to do this one. Where is it? Stitching Shelf for the another month out of the season. So this is an Heaven and Earth Designs artwork by Amy Stewart. And I have parts of this stitched all over. So I'm going to work on just this winter shelf right now since we're in winter. But then I'll bring it out 3 more times in the other seasons to work on the other shelves. So I'll give it 4 Sundays here in the winter blocks, winter shelf. So that'll be fun. And then in the other month of the season, I will bring back my seasonal floral crosses that are by Janlin. So that'll be fun to get those back out again. So here is my stitching shelf. I need to back up, probably disturb Smokey, but I'll show you the whole thing, and then I'll do the just the first the shelf. So yeah, so this is 28 count mushroom or Monaco, I think, or no, tea-dyed Monaco. I forget where I got it because I don't think you can get this big of a piece anymore. But so there's the spring, summer, fall, and winter. So I will hold that one up because I can have a before of just winter, and I'll show you befores and afters on the top and bottom of the screen as we go along in this month and see where I work. So I'll give it 4 Sundays. So I could maybe work on this snowman this week. That could be fun to fill him out a little bit more. But I might also do some more structure stitching to get more scenes and book spines and different things, so you can have more weight, more places to count to. But there was a mania maybe that I worked through all over and worked down the shelves to like be able to touch lots of this, so I can work on whatever section I want whenever I am interested in that section. So at this point now I'm like, well, let's do this for seasonal stitching. I think that'll be fun. So there's that one. We'll see that come out. And I don't think I worked on this at all last year, so I'm excited to get it back out again. Okay, so the last few days here in January, I do have some more stitching to do because there's what is it, 5 days left here. The whole week, all the weekdays are still January. So my last Monday, here we go. On Monday, I'll work on Robin Christmas patchwork. This is the mystery stitch along from the fall, which is a Christmas one. And I just recently recharted it to kind of take out, this is the original, then my version will now be like this. So I'm taking out some blocks and making it a little smaller, and I'll get to work on it one more day, because it's a WIPGO call for January, and I only managed to put it on my board, my Bringo board, 3 times. So it needs a 4th day, so that'll be today. And then here's my starting point. So here's this one. This is the 32 count sage green linen that came with the kit. And I'll be picking out this green and this yellow because the new blocks that will be here are slightly different. So those will get picked out. Then I'll probably work on finishing the stocking block before doing anything else. So I may not get anything more than just picking the stuff out and working on the stockings in the one day. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited. Something I didn't mention last time, now that I've recharted it, I was filling this out in Pattern Keeper to like get it, mark off what I'd already done. And this is like one more little bump and I'm at the bottom. 1 or 2 more bumps. So it's like, ooh, that's exciting. So before I was just going and I knew I'd have a lot more to do, to keep going, but now it's almost to the bottom. So this is like the whole space that I'll have to fill up. So a lot more manageable and finishable with all else that I have going on. So, and I have 2 new starts that I made earlier this year or earlier this month that didn't get very much work done because of Bringo. I didn't want to include them in Bringo because I wanted to start them on particular days. And with Bringo, you don't know what days things will get called. So I ended up just starting them and putting in like a length of thread or something and then putting them away. So now I'm going to actually give them some time. This one, I forgot to bring it up, so I think maybe I'll just include a picture of what I showed when I worked on it. Her Journey by Megan Walsh. This is charted by Blushing Pink Stitches. And I started this with ebony, stitches in ebony. And I started up here because I decided to roll it up vertically. I'm not 100% sure I like that when it is a little bit deeper than some of the other charts that I've rolled up vertically. And so it may be too uncomfortable and I may end up switching it to a horizontal, which in that case I will need to start over here, which is tricky. So it's like I can either just start over here, unpick this to make sure it matches, or I can just keep going vertically and moving this way, or I can hop, skip, and jump, count all the way across here and then do it my normal way. I don't know yet, but that'll get Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 proper days on it. So we'll see. I'll kind of feel my fabric and see what I want to do. And then Bits and Bobbins is another one that I started on the 14th with Vonnie of Thread the Needle. It's still over here. That's what this one looks like. It's a Heaven and Earth Designs artwork by Elizabeth Welker. And I'm up here. I still have thread on my needle. It's purple, which is great. So I'll just keep going, picking symbols in the 10 by 10 grid at the top. And this is 40 count natural linen 1/1 half cross. So that's the tiny start I have on that one. And I believe that's the top 10 by 10 square there, all of that color that's in the 10 by 10 square. I still have thread on my needle, so I'll keep filling that in and then pick the next color. So this one, both of these are quite large. The other one is, Her Journey is also on 40 count, 1/1 half stitches, and it's Silvery Moon maybe, or something. So yeah, so that's what I'll be working on this week, and I'm excited about that. So I hope you have a wonderful end of your January, and just be thankful for all the ways that you are provided for, and happy stitching. Bye.